What's up, guys? This is Chris Sarai bringing another edition of the Car Concierge Show, the show that helps the buying, selling, maintaining, and repairing of your vehicle. On today's show, we talk about the first death by a Robo-Taxi, first kill by a Robo-Taxi, and of course, there'll probably be many, many more. After that, we're going to talk about Toyota as it recalls over 1 million vehicles for a software update that is going to be important for some people. And last but not least, we're going to dive back into the UPS plane crash that happened over in Kentucky and get the latest update on that situation. All right, so let's jump straight into it. The revolution of the Robo-Taxi is upon us. It is pretty much prevalent over in Texas. San Francisco has some. I think there's some over in Chicago. So they're branching out pretty much everywhere, and they're probably going to be a mainstay to come here in the near future. But we have had our first death. And with that death, we are seeing people try to bolster for regulation when it comes to these robo-taxis. So let's check it out and then talk about it.
While Boston leaders debate whether to allow robo-taxis here, the company Waymo is facing new trouble in one of its first markets.
So Waymo's cars, they've been operating in San Francisco for a little more than a year now, and there have been some bumps in the road. But now the death of a cat is driving a call for new regulations. Bodega owner Mike Zaydan's cat, Kit Kat, was beloved in the San Francisco Mission District.
He brought so much joy and warmth and peace to everyone who met him. He brought people together.
Last week, a Waymo vehicle turned that joy to sorrow when it hit and killed the cat. Members of the community are outraged. Now, one San Francisco lawmaker is calling for new regulations to give voters control over rules for robo-taxis. She already has a lot of support.
If I ran a red light, I'm getting a ticket, I'm getting in trouble, got to go to traffic school. They run red lights and there's no accountability.
But those against the idea are concerned regulation could stifle innovation, and cities having different rules could create a logistical nightmare.
Some of them will allow it, some of them will say no, some of them will limit, the time when they will be on the streets. And this can create a lot of confusion.
Waymo issued a statement after the crash saying the company would make a donation to a local animal rights organization in Kit Kat's honor, but community leaders say that's just not good enough.
Waymo's CEO said that society will accept a death caused by a robo-taxi. Here in the Mission, we will not.
Now, so far, Waymo has not reacted to the new proposal. However, along with San Francisco, the company is already operating in Los Angeles and Phoenix.
Just the idea, the shot where they had where it's from the back seat and you see no one in front of you, really freaks me out for some reason.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
Not a no, yeah. We'll see if it becomes popular in Boston, if and when it happens.
Yeah, it's a no for me too. I mean, what we're talking about is just something that a lot of people are not ready for. Now, mind you, there are many people that have rode Waymo taxis. I have friends that ride them all the time over in San Francisco, and I watch too much TV. I was way too big a fan of Terminator. I watch a show called Upload that automatically the first part of the show is about a gentleman getting to a robo-taxi and him getting killed. So I'm still not a big, massive fan of robo-taxis. I'm not a massive fan of, driverless vehicles because I just don't feel that safe when a system is running it instead of a person who has to kind of take care of themselves as well as you. And that's why I always loved, that kind of transportation, buses, cabs, any of that type of situation. My first thought process is that the person who's driving the vehicle, they want to stay alive too, so they're going to take as many precautions as they would regularly to keep themselves safe, and in turn, they're going to keep me safe in that way. Now, this is one of those situations, and poor cat, you never want somebody to lose their animal. It's just a horrible situation. It's like losing a family member, let's face it. And, of course, the fact that this killing of this cat is going to bring around regulation that we've already needed. I mean, with the robo-taxis, just along with, EV vehicles in general, we're talking about an infrastructure that has to be put in place. And what they're talking about is certain regulations for the robo-taxis, where they can drive, how they can drive, if they'll be fined, who's going to be paying fines for running stop signs and all those type of things. There's a massive loss of infrastructure for robo-taxis and EV vehicles in that matter. So it's still going to take some time. And the fact that I truly think when it comes to EV vehicles and robo-taxis and all those type of things, we're just moving way too fast. We're just moving way too fast. We have to slow it down, man. Now, I love EVs. No, I take that back. I don't love EVs. EVs is cool. If you can afford it, if it's good for your lifestyle, if it's good for the way you live your life, the distances you drive, fantastic. But I will continue to say this until I'm out of breath. You have to build a better infrastructure for EV vehicles and the robo-taxi system. You had to come up with solid, regulations for certain things. Who's going to take care of certain things when it comes to robo-taxis? What you're liable for when you're in your EV vehicle and driving around and you're not driving it yourself. There's a lot of talk and investigation and research that still has to go into the putting these things on our roads and feeling completely safe. And I just don't think we're there yet. I think that we've made massive advances. And I do not want to stifle, innovation. I do not want to stifle technology. I just want it to be safe. And I just want to make sure that people are not losing their pets, losing their homes, getting damage to their property or losing their lives when it comes to a vehicle that's not driven by a person. All right, let's keep it going. We're going to jump into our recall watch situation and check out what is going on with Toyota as it recalls almost or over 1 million vehicles. Let's check it out.
Picture the panic as you back out of your driveway, relying on that trusty rearview camera, only to see a blank screen staring back. Toyota owners across America faced this nightmare scenario today, November 6, 2025, with the automaker announcing a massive recall over a critical safety glitch. This isn't some minor hiccup. It affects over 1 million vehicles. Toyota pulls back 1,024,407 trucks and SUVs because the rear camera might fail to display, hiking up crash risks in reverse. Owners of 2022 through 2025 Tundra and Tundra hybrid models feel the sting most. The 2023 to 2025 Sequoia hybrids join the list, turning everyday maneuvers into potential hazards. Remember the Takata airbag fiasco that plagued Toyota years ago? That scandal cost billions and eroded trust, much like this camera software blunder exposes ongoing quality lapses. Critics slam Toyota for prioritizing speed over safety in their rush to dominate the hybrid market. They cut corners on testing, letting glitches slip through that could endanger families on the road. Economic pressures play a role too, with supply chain snarls forcing hasty fixes. Yet, Toyota's massive profits beg the question, why skimp on something as vital as visibility tech? This recall highlights a broader industry plague, where innovation outpaces reliability. Automakers chase electric dreams, but forget the basics like glitch-free cameras that save lives. Hemulik should act fast and check their VIN on Toyota's site for affected vehicles. Dealers will update the software for free, so schedule that fix before disaster strikes. Toyota must overhaul their quality controls, investing in rigorous pre-launch testing. Regulators need to tighten oversight, ensuring these giants face real consequences for slip-ups. Consumers hold power too, demand transparency and boycott brands that repeatedly falter. Support companies prioritizing safety over flashy features in your next purchase. In the end, this recall shakes our faith in automotive giants like Toyota. It reminds us that behind the sleek designs lurk potential dangers we can't ignore. Reflect on your own ride. Does it truly protect you? or hide unseen flaws. Take charge now, push for better standards, and drive toward a safer future for all.
Wow, I couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said any of that better. It went through everything when it comes to recalls and Toyota and the software situation. That AI was pretty awesome. Yeah, what else can you say, really? This is it's crazy, but they just pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. We're in an age where most automakers are just cutting every corner and just, trying their best to beat the next automaker on getting the latest stuff out there, and they're not doing the research and development that's needed to be done. I talk about this pretty much every time we do Recall Watch, is that, man, they've skipped. That AI did it, right? They've skipped over so many things to get you into these vehicles with the latest technology, with the latest cameras and all these things. They've skipped over all of the necessary research, all of the necessary quality checks, all of the necessary revisions that need to be done before these vehicles are going to come out to you. That's why we're having such a massive state of recalls. We have literally a recall pretty much coming out every day. And now, mind you, recalls are standard. Recalls are always going to happen. They've always happened and they will always happen. But the recalls that we've been seeing lately are recalls that could have been avoided with some rigorous research and development. We wouldn't be in this position if they were doing the research and development like they did back in the day. And they're not doing it because they just don't have the time. They have to get these cars out. They have to get these cars out to compete with the next automaker. And that's a problem. That's the problem, because the world has been flooded with so many automakers and so many different models and brands of vehicles that, the market share is just gone for most of these places. And that's why the automotive industry is suffering so much. We have so many of these vehicles on the road, and now, mind you, variety is key, and your ability to choose what you want to drive is very important. But to the detriment of most automakers, specifically U.S. automakers, putting out too many brands and putting them out in a situation where they could cause so many problems because they're not doing the correct research and development. And most automakers are going to have to scale back. And they've already started. Several automakers have already got rid of several models, got rid of several of the features that these vehicles have. They're scaling back, and they're scaling back massively because they're taking losses, massive losses. They're not making they're not making the money that they used to. And it's a major problem. And not only is it a problem for the automaker, but it's a problem for us as well. Because when we get in these vehicles and they have this lack of research and development, and they have all these recalls and all these internal problems and software problems, who does it affect? Us. And how does it affect us? It could be as simple as having to go to the dealership a whole bunch of times to get something fixed, as simple as paying to get something repaired that we didn't know was covered under warranty, or losing our lives. So we have to demand, like the article said, we have to demand that these automakers do what's right by us. We have to, because we cannot be losing our lives behind the wheels of brand new cars just because of some glitch that you didn't find because you didn't do the correct research and development. That's not what we want to happen, and we can't allow that to happen. We have to stay vigilant, stay on top of these automakers to make sure they're doing the correct research and development and not giving us cars that are going to break down or cause us harm. All right, last but not least, it's going to be a quick show, very quick show. We're going to talk about the plane crash, the UPS plane crash over in Kentucky. There was an update. We did a story about it yesterday, but I want to do a quick update because this whole situation of, all these plane crashes and helicopter crashes, and for me, it foretells a problem much like the auto industry, when, we have to continue to, keep the masses fed, keep the airways full, keep people going from one place to another, but not making sure everything is perfect when it comes to these planes, trains, and automobiles. Let's check it out.
Two aviation experts weighing in now on the tragedy.
Boston 25 News reporter Lisa Pappas continues our coverage. And Lisa, one of the experts knew two of the people on the plane.
Yeah, just devastating. Aviation experts tell us since the plane just started to lift for takeoff, it was at a point of no return, which means it was likely too late for the pilots to abort this flight when it exploded into flames.
It's just a sad day for the aviation community. I knew 2 out of the 3 pilots personally.
Aviation expert Tom Cappelletti knew 2 of the 3 pilots killed on board this cargo plane Tuesday. The plane exploded into a fireball just after takeoff in Louisville.
If you stay in this business long enough, you lose friends. I'm concerned, but the NTSB is the finest in the world. They'll get to the bottom of this, just like the Concorde crash in Paris many years ago.
While the investigation is only just beginning, aviation experts say there are some clues as to what may have caused this.
So it appears mechanical failure of some sort, perhaps, on the aircraft. Couldn't gain altitude for whatever reason. Engine failure. It's an MD-11, which has 3 engines. It's a wide-body aircraft.
Experts say this plane can carry a lot of cargo and more than 38,000 gallons of fuel as it was ready for a 10 to 12-hour flight to Hawaii. The aircraft was leaving UPS's hub on the south side of the airport when it blew up, leaving a massive line of fire and debris in its path.
Look at
the
that.
smoke could be seen for miles.
It will travel a long distance at that speed because of the massive aircraft and the speed it's going, but how far it goes really depends what it encounters in terms of what it hits.
My thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the 3 crew members, and it's going to be a grim evening in Louisville at UPS at the Worldport.
Aviation experts say the investigation can only really begin once the rescue response is over, and we know that emergency response is still underway tonight. Again, at least 4 people dead and 11 injured in that plane crash tonight. Live in the control room, I'm Lisa Pappas for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Oh man, that's a real sad situation. Prayers go out to the family. It's a horrible thing, and
Two aviation.
we don't. I mean, wow. Let's think about this for a minute. They're saying, of course, they haven't figured out exactly what caused the crash, but they're saying that their plane exploded. So we could kind of surmise that it had to be some kind of failure of the vehicle itself. So the first thing when it comes to planes, you have to make sure that the maintenance is correct, that all of the bells and whistles have been checked before flight. And of course, it was a UPS plane, so it wasn't a plane filled with people, so it was just filled with packages and all of those type of things. So in those type of situations, those planes generally don't have the regulations on what maintenance is, what checks need to be done regularly to them, because they're not commercial flights. You don't have several people on them. You could pretty much do your maintenance and your maintenance checks fairly regularly yourselves and not under the parameters of a commercial flight vehicle, because they have to go through more rigorous checks than a standard, plane used to deliver packages. It's the best way to say it. It's really sad. I mean, we have to think that, first off, it's UPS, so it's going to, of course, affect those people who had packages on the plane. And of course, these 4 family members that died, or the pilots that passed away, and 4 people who passed away, and 11 people that got injured. Those are the most important issues that we have to take. But we have to find out what happened. We need to know this knowledge of what happened when this plane crashed, why a plane crashed, and all those type of things, so we could use that information to monitor other vehicles and to avoid this to happen again. This is tragic. And the fact that we don't know what happened is bad. We have to find it out immediately. Furthermore, I have to believe to some degree, I don't know if it's just a thing that's in the air or a calling of something higher in the world. But I'm really getting that feeling like that, the world or somebody or something is telling us that we need to avoid these holidays this season. What I'm thinking is that, of course, when it comes to the UPS plane going down and crashing and burning up, all of those packages, I would assume that some percentage of those packages were Christmas presents, things that were going to people over in Hawaii or wherever the final location was for Thanksgiving, all those type of things, just off the top of my head, the majority or a good percentage probably were Christmas and Thanksgiving things on that plane, right? Then I have to think, well, we have the whole situation with the government being shut down and EBT and food stamps not being regularly available, which is going to, of course, affect people's ability to have a great Thanksgiving dinner, great time feeding massive amounts of people, because Thanksgiving is that time of year. That time of year that where a load, 25, 30 people get together. Of course, I plan to go home, hopefully have a big Thanksgiving with my family as well. And, with the loss of the EBT and the food stamps, a lot of families are going to have a hard time having that kind of Thanksgiving that they probably usually have based off the fact that they get EBT and food stamps. And on top of that, all of the massive layoffs, UPS, Amazon, GM, Meta, all these people have lost their jobs that they needed money for, to pay for gifts for Christmas, to buy food for Thanksgiving, to pay for the trips to go visit family members for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. It really seems to me that somebody is trying to, someone or something, whatever way you want to look at it, is trying to shut down our holiday season. And I keep saying this, why is this happening right before holiday season? Did they have to shut the government down right before the holiday season? Did they have to lay off all those people right before the holiday season? They couldn't wait till, January 2nd, 3rd, 4th? Why now? Why is all these bad things happening now? And for me, I truly think they don't want us to celebrate the holidays. Somebody don't want us to be happy during the holidays. Because even if you're happy and your life is going good and your job is going good and your travel is going good and you don't get food stamps so you're still eating good, everybody around you ain't. And that's what the holidays is about. Everybody around you. The family members that you don't get to see on a regular basis. The family members that live so far away that when you get together with them, you want to have a good time. And a lot of people are not going to be able to have a good time because they ain't got food, they ain't got jobs, they ain't got packages. It's a rough time, guys. But, I honestly hope that everybody out there wades through these horrible times, still has a great holiday, has a great Thanksgiving, has a great Christmas, has a great New Year's. But we can tell that it's going to be truly hard for a lot of people. Alright guys, I'm going to let y'all go and get up out of y'all. I am Chris Surratt. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Car Concierge Show. Please hit the like, share, subscribe button. Hit me in the DMs if you have any questions. And I'm out. Peace.